American nightmare is over.
Yes. All we are asking is give Pitts a chance. I said this on the show. It makes it to the Westwood One radio call, which is what you just heard right there. And guys, we have some champagne. We're in a bar. We have some champagne. As you can see, we have marked out the actual brand because we're still looking for an alcohol sponsor. This could have been you, your logo here, but 2 bottles of champagne, me and you. We're going to open this up. You know why? Because Kyle Pitts has scored his first touchdown in American history. You know what I mean? Like, it's unbelievable.
In American history.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, well, yeah, because he hasn't.
Only the London one.
Yeah, no, 1,000%.
Jay, you first.
Cheers.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, that's my water.
That's the water.
Hang on.
Nope, I lied.
There we go. Burial.
There we go.
Did you think initially, my initial thought was when I saw it, is there another Pitts? Is there another Pitts on Atlanta? It just seems so
Fourth
surreal.
string tight end or a fullback.
Crew, you guys want any?
Fourth string wide receiver. New Pitts.
I'm pouring one out for my
Brad
homies,
Pitts.
and my homies are those people that have stuck by Kyle Pitts through 6 weeks. It's unbelievable.
Couldn't be me.
Pop the corks, pop the champagnes. It's unbelievable. Kyle Pitts, his first touchdown since Week 5 of the 2021 season, his only touchdown as a pro in America, because the one from last year, of course, was London. Still played a season low in offensive snaps in this game. It's still his third game this season
3 targets.
with 3 or fewer targets. 3 or fewer catches and under 20 receiving yards as well. I don't know if we're drinking to celebrate or drinking to cry our tears, because, I mean, the fact of the matter is that he finished with 10.9 fantasy points. Like, he scored a touchdown. He's a tight end scoring a touchdown, like, you know, and still finished as tight end 11 as we head into Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
I ranked him at 10,
It's like an
so kudos to
Smith
me.
type of game.
Yeah, but Arthur Smith, I mean, here's what drives me crazy. And I'm going to, like, it goes against everything I believe in, and yet they keep winning. So it's like, maybe I'm the idiot, right? You know, like on Reddit, it's like, am I the asshole, right? You know, that's like, there's a Reddit thread. Maybe I'm the asshole here. Like, I don't know. Like, Arthur Smith's like, listen, Barry, like, I'm targeting up Kadero Hodge and, you know, Almighty Zacchaeus and, you know, and we're crushing. So shut the hell up. You know what? Like, I'm out here doing it with Caleb Huntley, dude. Like, I don't want to hear it from you.
Like I said, they're the only team that's covered every game this year. I think the defense is better than anyone thought.
Absolutely.
And that is giving them this avenue to ruin Kyle Pitts, to ruin Drake London.
And still win.
Yeah, to ruin the hearts and souls of Americans. But they're winning games, and until they stop, I think they're just going to keep doing this. So if you're a Kyle Pitts owner, you need to start cheering against the Atlanta Falcons. You need to have them down 3 scores.
But I mean, they run the ball so effectively.
I know.
That's the thing.
Just
It's
kills
like
you.
it's by a committee, and but they actually have, for the most part, like, run fairly effectively this year, and so they're controlling the clock. Like, it's all these kind of grinded out games, but like it's freaking working, and it's annoying as hell. And now listen, 49ers defense was banged up. We talked about this on Fantasy Football pregame. The really hurt defense that was traveling east for a 1 o'clock game. West Coast team traveling east. But I mean, having said that, this is a team, the Falcons, and Mariota was a big part of this, but 40 rushing attempts for 168 yards in this game.
Yeah.
40 rush attempts for 168 yards in this game. And so if you are the Falcons, why would you change this? I mean, you know, the problem is that as a result, they are still their passing attempts. I mean, Marcus Mariota in a game they won by 2 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota threw the ball 14 times.
Yeah, Marcus Fields is what they call him now.
I mean, basically, right now they had a defensive touchdown in this game, so that skews it as well, because they scored on it and they didn't need an offensive possession to do so. But still, between Kyle Pitts and Drake London, who goes 3 for 40 on 4 targets, like, I don't know what to do other than, like, I don't think you can start Drake London anymore until you can see it. Like, the massive target share that was there has gone away. Yep. And on Pitts, I think you probably still have to keep rolling him out there, but we have to reframe our thinking on Kyle Pitts. He is a touchdown-dependent tight end. Now, a super talented and athletic one, and he's at the higher end of that list, but he is in the touchdown-dependent tight end.
Yep.
Our producer Damien and I were laughing yesterday because it was just like, oh, Falcons tight end scored. It was Michael Pruitt. And then Pitts gets in, but it's like you've got to be effing kidding me. Really? Yep. Finally, we got a tight end from Atlanta to, like, score, and it's stupid Michael Pruitt, former Tennessee Titan great, of course, Michael Pruitt.
I do think with Pitts, like, we do have to regress a little bit back to the talent. He's a different tier, obviously, to the Jamar Chase, but it's the same reason. You're not giving up on Jamar Chase, and he has the big game. Is that, preseason, we were talking about Pitts in the same breath as Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. That was a discussion. I just think that the Falcons, my Atlanta Falcons, I just don't think they're this good, and they're going to start losing games. So I would be trying to trade. I would be sending low ball offers for Pitts and London, just because I think the talent is there, and they're going to have to throw the ball eventually.
Maybe. Here's their upcoming schedule, though. At Cincinnati, home to Carolina, home to the Chargers, at Carolina. They're not going to have to throw against the 2 games against the Panthers, right? And so maybe against the Bengals, although the Chargers offense seems a little bit stuck in slow motion. We'll see what they do tonight. Atlanta rushed on 67% of its plays. They're averaging a 36% pass rate over its last 4 games. A 36% pass rate. Like, they don't want to throw. Probably because they've seen Marcus Mariota throw, and they're like, oh, don't do that. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, listen,
not the bays, not the throws.
Right, Marcus Mariota was a top 5 quarterback, and I think he's a viable streamer because of the rushing. He had 50 rushing yards. He's had it for 2 straight games. He blew past his prop. We got that one wrong on pregame here. But other than that, like, I don't know that there's a Falcon you feel good about starting.
No.
There's not one Falcon that you feel good about starting going forward. Quickly before we move off this game, last thing I'll just say here is we predicted a coming out party for George Kittle. It was 8 for 83. He got the 10 targets. He should have actually had 9 for 100 at a touchdown. He was wide open in the end zone for like what would have been a 25-yard touchdown pass, and just Garoppolo just missed him by a country mile. Like an awful, drove me crazy as somebody who has a lot of Kittle. And that was my bold prediction on pregame was 100 yards and a touchdown for Kittle, and it was right there. Like, if Garoppolo's a professional NFL quarterback, like, I'd make my – anyway.
Yeah.
One last thing on this game. Brandon Aiyuk, of course, having a team-high 11 targets, career-high in fantasy points. I mean, a great day for Aiyuk despite an awful day for San Francisco.
Worth noting, I don't know that I'm necessarily starting him, although they play the Chiefs next week, and they're going to have to throw to keep up with KC. The majority of Aiyuk's fantasy success in his career has come when Jimmy Garoppolo has been under center. There is a connection there between those two, so it was nice to see. And again, Kittle coming back as well. They were down in this game, so they had to throw more probably than they wanted to. But I just think the more and more he plays, the more Garoppolo gets back into being competent. You know what I mean? Like, not a fantasy starter, but to the people that, the Debos and the Kittles and the Aiyuks that we care about. Like, that's what we need.
Yeah, Brandon Aiyuk was Jimmy's favorite red zone target last season. That's going to continue, we think, this season as well. And I'm very worried about the Niners' defense now. Not that they're going to be a bottom 10 unit or anything, but that they're not going to be an elite best in the league unit just because they were missing their entire defensive line yesterday. Emmanuel Mosley tore his ACL. He's out for the season. Charvarius Ward, who's been one of the best corners in the league, he's injured now. And Bosa should come back next week, which helps a lot because I think alongside Micah Parsons, he's been the best defensive player in the league. But that defense now is really banged up, and I think that helps Brandon Aiyuk because it means they're going to be throwing more. They're not going to be able to play the defense, run Jeff Wilson game constantly. So I think that Aiyuk he's real. He's wide receiver 25 on the season, and I think he can approach that territory.
Really tough game for Jeff Wilson, but again, game script worked against him negatively. And, listen, we've talked about this. The Falcons have a legitimately decent run defense.
Yep.
Jay, you said throwing more. How about the Colts yesterday? Matt Ryan throwing 58 times, and one of the beneficiaries of that is Deion Jackson, targeted 14 times, Matthew Berry.
Let's go. We talked up Deion Jackson on Fantasy Football pregame. I put it out on social as well. People were like, oh, Jackson or Lindsey, and I'm like, Jackson. Jackson's the guy you want. We talked about the fact that he had run twice as many routes as Lindsey in the previous week. He'd been involved in the passing game. He had more targets, more routes run than Philip Lindsey, and really interesting. We'll see if Jonathan Taylor can come back, but, and we'll talk about Deion Jackson more tomorrow during the waiver show, but 14 times he's been targeted the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's averaging over 100 yards a game over the last 2 weeks. He had an 18% target share in this game. That's better than any game that Jonathan Taylor's had. Jonathan Taylor's season best is 14%. Yeah. So to get an 18% target share, I mean, again, we don't expect Matt Ryan to have to throw it 60 times, which is almost what he did in this one.
Yeah, 58,
But yeah, I mean, I think for a Colts offense that looked like it was, dead against the Broncos, this was a good game against my Swagwars.
Yeah, only your Swagwars.
Only my Swag. I know you bailed on that.
Yeah, I bailed.
I'm not a fair weather fan like you.
Yeah, I am. I'm a Jets fan now. Yeah. And Falcons. Not Lions anymore either. Right, as well. Look, I think with Deion Jackson, I think now he's a guy that you stash because of Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor's had this ankle, which has kept him out 2 weeks. This can linger. If he gets hurt again, I think you definitely want Deion Jackson over like Nyheim Hines because of the ceiling that he showed. And to your point about the Colts offense, I didn't think they had that game in them. I didn't think that Ryan could accumulate that many yards with that efficiency, feeding Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce gets the game-winning touchdown. All of a sudden, Jonathan Taylor comes back. They look like a viable offense again.
Alec Pierce's touchdown kind of saves his fantasy day, but Paris Campbell played more snaps, ran more routes, got more targets, 7 for 57 and 11 targets, scores the touchdown as well. And so I don't know that we have any clarity on the guy other than Michael Pittman that you want in this offense. We thought it might be Pierce. I think after this game, maybe it's Paris Campbell. I think both guys should be rostered in deeper leagues if they aren't already. Paris Campbell is somebody who we loved coming out of college, and just injuries have have derailed his career. They play the Tennessee Titans next
which
week.
is a favorable matchup. I would be selling high on Alec Pierce. Like, I think if someone wants to trade you like George Pickens for Alec Pierce, I'd be saying yes in a heartbeat. And
like you said, we just don't think this team is going to throw the ball 58 times ever again probably this season. So that plays
especially,
into
by the
it
way,
as well.
the next 3 games, Titans, Commanders, Patriots, and then Las Vegas. There's not a game until maybe Las Vegas where you think they might get into shootout territory because the Titans, the Commanders, and the Patriots all 3 are sort of low ball, grinded out kind of time possession type offenses. So none of those games you feel like the game script would be where they're throwing it back and forth the way they did in this game.
Yeah, unless the great Bailey Zappi is still starting and he's making his run to MVP, and that could be a shootout. But if Mac Jones is back, it should be grinded out.
By the way, it's a question. Bailey Zappi played great. Don't you think? I mean, it's a question. It isn't. Like, it's going to be Mac Jones, but I'm just like.
It's more of a debate than Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott.
1,000%. I'm just saying, Bailey Zappi's played really well for a 4th-round rookie.
I think now it means there's a shorter leash on Mac, where if Mac is bad for a month, then he's in trouble.
They have a guy that they'll go to right away.
Right, and clearly Zappi's, even when Hoyer comes back, I think Zappi's the backup. Yeah.
A tough day for Baltimore, losing right at the end of the game against the Giants, but a resurgent Kenyan Drake. Very efficient with these touches. 10 rushes, 119 yards. The touchdown, 1 catch for 8 yards. It's the most touches he's had since week 1. I mean, Kenyan Drake in the Baltimore backfield, Barry. Kenyan Drake.
The zombie, hey, give me the Undertaker gif of coming up out of the.
He does it every year.
Out of the cabin, out of the not the coffin. I'm sorry. Undertaker out of the coffin. That's Kenyan Drake. Kenyan Drake was a healthy scratch at a point this year. He was so bad, and yet J.K. Dobbins gets banged up again, and Kenyan Drake looks nothing short of amazing. The most touches he's had since week 1 when he had 12 at your New York Jets. 2 of the previous 3 games. Again, a healthy scratch. So here's what I would say. I think that the Ravens will be able to effectively run the ball, whoever's back there. I don't feel super confident in saying that's the guy that's going to be back there because we'll see the extent of Dobbins' injury. His knee tightened up in the second half. Was it just one of those, a game thing and he's fine for next week, or may it linger? Does Gus Edwards come back as well? How does that change the dynamic in the backfield? Kenyan Drake should probably be picked up, but I don't feel great about it because it's Kenyan Drake. And he had a good day at the office. They ran against the Giants. Everyone can run against the Giants. They play Cleveland, then the Buccaneers, then the Saints, then a bye. Normally, I wouldn't feel great about I know the Patriots just ran all over the Browns, but generally speaking, I feel like the Browns are an okay, kind of a middle of the pack run defense. Tampa Bay, in theory, should be a tough matchup here. The Saints I don't know. I think it is going to be tough to accurately predict who the Ravens running back you want because we've seen some Kenyan Drake, we've seen Dobbins. Dobbins was supposed to have limited usage. His first game back, he gets the 2 touchdowns.
I think it's a disaster all across the board. Dobbins is the guy you'd still want because of the upside, but you don't want. Week to week, you can't count on any of them. Now, another guy who we'd said you can't count on at all was Allen Robinson, who all of a sudden delivered out of nowhere. A little bit of Undertaker gift for Allen Robinson. He didn't really get the targets that you'd probably like to think it's going to be sustainable going forward. But, Matthew, is Allen Robinson a guy that you're picking up now and starting in your low-end flex territory?
If you've been hanging on Allen Robinson's the guy you start shopping. Hey, he's back. I would take almost anything for Allen Robinson. I don't think this is, to your point.
Chase Claypool?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
right. I mean, but that's he got the 5 receptions, right? I mean, it's fine. He got the touchdown. It was a game in which the Rams they're not going to have much easier time than the Carolina Panthers, like a team that fired its head coach and is traveling cross country and clearly, and they're announcing they're trading their best player. Like that team is like, okay,
they're lifeless.
Huh?
They're a lifeless team right now. They kicked Robbie Anderson off the sideline. Like nothing could be going worse for them, I don't think. At this
no. I mean, they just got dusted by Allen Robinson.
Yeah,
so
I think with Allen Robinson, the thing too is that he's still not getting any separation.
No.
He was making ridiculous catches, and that's fine because he's got the leap, he's got the hands, but he's not getting any separation. So I don't think it's sustainable.
I want out of the Allen Robinson business.
Yes,
so if he's available in your league, I'm not making an effort to pick him up. There are better wide receivers. But if you've hung on this tight, now's your window to sell.
In an actual exciting NFL game from Sunday.
They're on a bye next week, by the way.
Chiefs, Bills, Juju Smith-Schuster with a big-time performance, 5 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown, along with a season-high in offensive snap percentage. Barry, I mean, I know you haven't really given up on Juju at any point in this season, but do you think this is a point where he actually starts to get going on a more consistent level here?
I don't. He did this on 5 targets. Like he had the 142-yard reception, which was great, 5 for 113 and a touchdown overall, really nice. And if you want to point to something, it was a season high in offensive snap percentage, but and so he had the second most targets. But this was again sort of the box score doesn't look like it, but it was, obviously an intense sort of shootout type game, even though it doesn't seem like that. Here's our upcoming schedule. Niners, bye, Titans, Jags. Again, none of those games you feel like they're going to have to be throwing a ton. Whatever. Mecole Hardman got the touchdown this week. Again, similar to Allen Robinson, really nice game for Juju. If you've been hanging on for so long, I would try to trade off of this game. Juju will have 2 more games like this where he has big games because he's on the field with Patrick Mahomes, and when you're on the field with Mahomes, games like this can happen. But I don't think this is the start of a trend where all of a sudden now he's going to dominate. 5 targets, guys.
Yep, it doesn't seem like it's sustainable. Now, another guy who got more targets, 9 targets, is Chase Claypool yesterday, where, all we've been thinking about, is it Deontay Johnson or George Pickens? Well, it turns out it's Chase Claypool. Are you picking him up, Matt?
No, I'm not. First off, it's his first game this season with over 50 yards. So he's had 1 good game in 6. We don't know who the quarterback is. Assuming they go back to Kenny Pickett, who missed the second half of this game, Trubisky came in. Assuming they go back to Kenny Pickett next week in the Sunday night game against the Dolphins, you'd prefer Johnson and Pickens in that order. I mean, no, I think, listen, very nice, 27% target share. They identified something against Tampa Bay. There was a connection there, but it's 1 game.
Yeah, sorry. So he had 7 targets this week. He had 9 the week before. So that is 16 targets across 2 games. But I think he's still going to see.
That's what I was going to say. Out with the concussion, this opens up the middle of the field for Claypool. I think that was the difference in this game. If Freiermuth is back soon, it probably takes away that high target share for Claypool.
So, 27% target share. I don't think you're seeing that again from Chase Claypool. By the way, I just want to go back very quickly in terms of as we pass by that Colts-Jaguars game. We've talked about this, similar to what we saw with Breece Hall, where hey, he's taking over this backfield. I think that's starting to happen with Travis Etienne.
Definitely.
Right? I mean, and James Robinson's still going to get his. Peterson always loves, and you look at the snaps and the touches, pretty much equal. Etienne played more, but not significantly more. And I like James Robinson, but Etienne is just so explosive.
That's the difference.
And I think as Doug Peterson, Jaguars are now 2-4. They're better than they were, but 2-4 is 2-4. I think they've got to develop Etienne even more.
Yep.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we are back, looking at some disappointments. The Sunday scaries coming right up.
Why did you turn to Jay when you said looking at disappointment?
There you go.
Looking at disappointments.
Coming in Monday hot.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.